Imagine this. You're 15 years old, the most beautiful girl in your village, and then, overnight, your father sells you. Not to a husband, not to a nobleman, but to the church. Your hair? Gone. Your freedom? Gone. And what follows is a nightmare. This isn't a fairy tale. This is 1240 AD, and this is what it really meant to be a forced nun in medieval England.
You were born in medieval England, year 1240 AD. Not into riches, not into nobility, but into a crumbling house with a father who spent more time kissing his ale mug than caring for his family. 5 daughters, 5 hungry mouths, and you, the second youngest. By 15, the whispers had already spread. In the market, in the taverns, even outside the church doors. She's the prettiest of them all, the second daughter. She'll marry well. But in the Middle Ages, beauty was never a gift. It was a curse dressed as a compliment.
One day, a general from the king's army saw you. His stare was heavy. His words were clear. He wanted you. But marriage wasn't about love. It was about dowry. His family demanded a price so large it could have sunk a ship. And your father? He had nothing left. The ale had drained him. Marrying your sisters had bled him dry. So when he heard whispers, the church was paying silver for girls to become nuns, he didn't think twice. That night, he pressed a sloppy kiss to your forehead. God'll take care of you, love, and with this silver, I'll take care of myself. The next morning, you didn't walk away. You were dragged.
They shaved your head in front of the village. Locks of hair, hair once praised as golden, soft, beautiful, fell like condemned souls at your feet. Gasps from the crowd, smirks from the priests. They forced you into a robe of rough black cloth. It stank of mold, damp stone, and the sweat of dead girls who had worn it before you. When you caught your reflection in a brass tray, you didn't recognize her. Your beauty was gone, stolen in a single cruel hour. You thought convent life meant peace, quiet hymns, gentle prayers, some kind of holy light. Instead, a priest shoved a stiff brush into your raw hands. Scrub the entire church floor tonight. God sees your effort. Don't disappoint him. You looked across the endless nave. The stone slabs stretched like eternity. So you scrubbed. On your knees until the skin split. On your hands until blisters opened and burned. On your back until every muscle screamed for mercy. When dawn finally came, you collapsed on a bench. The priest inspected your work, sneered, "Amateur, do better, wake at 4 tomorrow, no excuses." Sleep became a dream you could never afford.
The bells rang at 4. Cold air bit into your skin. They dragged you to the chapel. Kneel. 7 hours. The Latin prayers droned like bees in your skull. Your stomach twisted. Your knees swelled. Your vision blurred. Then, hope. An apple, left on the altar, shining red in the candlelight. You reached, trembling, desperate. A sharp smack seared your hand. No food. 3-day water fast. Purify yourself. Nights were worse. You lay on cold stone, wrapped in nothing but a ragged scrap. The wind shrieked through the cracks. Rats huddled closer together than the sisters ever did. You envied them their warmth. You whispered to yourself, "Is this really God's plan, or just man's cruelty dressed as God's will?" No answer came.
One day, outside the convent gates, you saw him, a boy, skin pale, lips blue, breath shallow. Without thinking, you slipped him apples from the storeroom. He bit into one. Juice ran down his chin. Life flickered back in his eyes. And for a moment, you felt human again. But mercy is never safe. An abbess stepped from the shadows, her face twisted with disgust. Thief, stealing God's apples for beggars? He would have died, you begged. Better he die, she spat, than you dishonor the convent. They dragged you before the priest. His verdict came like a hammer. 10 days without food. Let your soul starve with your stomach. Let God teach you the value of bread. Your heart plummeted. Your knees nearly gave way. And then, salvation? A higher priest stepped forward. His robes shimmered with gold thread. His voice was velvet. Service to the poor is service to God. She should be pardoned. Relief washed over you. You nearly wept at his kindness. But mercy always has a price. That night, in a dark corridor, he found you, his breath warm against your ear. "You owe me." Your voice shook. "Owe you? What?" He smiled. "Your silence, your body. God forgives sins, but I forgive punishments." You begged. You tried to run, but he was stronger. That night, your vow of chastity was stolen, not given. Afterward, staring up at cracks in the ceiling, you whispered into the darkness, "God, why didn't you come?" The silence was louder than any prayer.
Weeks later, they dragged you before the village. "Confess your sins," the priest thundered. You tried to speak. "But I confess." So you confessed to lust, to pride, to disobedience, lies, every word. The villagers gasped, crossed themselves, shook their heads. Judgment complete. Then they handed you a whip. Punish yourself for God. Your hand shook as you lifted it. 1 strike, 2, 10. The sting turned to fire. Blood seeped into your robe. The villagers nodded in satisfaction. You Months passed. Hunger gnawed your insides. Cold chewed your bones. Silence drowned you, until your belly began to swell. You knew immediately whose sin this was, but who would ever believe you? The convent exploded with fury. The abbess spit venom. You defiled holy ground. "It wasn't my choice," you cried. "Silence," the priest roared. "You are cursed." They banished you. You stumbled into the village, clutching your stomach. People hissed, spat, called you harlot. You begged your father. Tears streamed down your face. He slammed the door. "You failed God. You failed us. You're no daughter of mine."
Your heart broke louder than his words. You found shelter in muddy barns, ate scraps tossed to pigs. Even beggars mocked you. Eventually, the kingdom put you to work, scrubbing noble toilets, on your knees in filth, while nobles laughed overhead. That was survival now.
Then the plague came. It crept like smoke, through villages, through cities, through lungs. Boils, fever, death. The rich fled, the priests locked their doors, but outcasts like you stayed. You carried the dead, scrubbed sores from the dying, buried bodies in pits until your arms shook, until the sickness found you. Your body, already starved, broke fast. Fever consumed you. Skin burned. Breath rattled. You begged for water, for mercy, for someone to just say your name kindly. No one came.
When you died, there were no prayers, no candles, no hymns. They tossed your body onto a cart, a mountain of plague dead. The wheels rattled toward the cliffs. When the cart tipped, your body fell into the sea, nameless, faceless, forgotten.
And that was your story. Born beautiful, sold for ale, broken by the church, abandoned by family, swallowed by the plague. So the next time someone tells you the Middle Ages were full of romance and chivalry, remind them. Sometimes it just sucked. And nothing sucked harder than being a forced nun.
If this story shook you, don't just scroll away. Hit that like button so more people see the dark side of history. Subscribe My Tharix for more forgotten tales the textbooks never dared to tell. And tell me in the comments, would you have survived medieval England?